muted now and recording. If anybody can hear us on the Zoom meeting, can you raise your hand or indicate? That might help us. You should be mute. All participants should be muted except for us as the host.
Did you see?
Oh, no, Christian.
Yeah.
They give us a thumbs up. Okay, thank you for that. I think technically we're good to go. It's 5:01. We're gonna respect everybody's time and continue here. So welcome. Thank you for attending the Northside Transportation Improvement Project Community Meeting. Next slide. Thanks for being here. We're going to record this meeting and post it online. And you can find additional details at this website link if you can't stay the whole time. And also, you could always reach out to Public Works at engineering@santaclaraca.gov with any questions or follow-ups you may have. So for the agenda for today, we're going to introduce the city staff here and also present two capital improvement projects. The first one is a permanent changeable message sign project, and the other one is the Great America Parkway Mission College Boulevard intersection improvement project. Both of these are on the north side of Santa Clara, and you'll get some more details on the location as we get there. At the end, save all your questions for the Q&A, and we'll allow time for that. So some introductions for Public Works. We have Steve Chan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Steve Chan, the Transportation Manager for the City of Santa Clara.
And also in traffic, we have
Chase Levasseur, Associate Engineer.
and myself, Brandon Coco, Senior Engineer in the Design Division. We also have Falguni.
Falguni Amin, Principal Engineer, Design Division.
And Christian is at the front hosting the meeting on the laptop. Say hi, Christian. He's my Associate Engineer in the Design Division, as well from Field Services.
Paranakmar Davis, Senior Engineer.
Field Services, for the people who don't know, the Field Services Division manages the project during construction. So because today's presentation is all about the construction and impacts, we wanted them to be part of the discussion group too.
She will help answer any questions you have about how the contractor is going to go about doing the work. So that'll be important. So the Zoom meeting is going. You're a participant. If you want to change your name, you could go down to the bottom, click it and rename yourself. Q&A is there. Is that correct, Christian? There's a Q&A at the bottom. Maybe not. If there's no Q&A, you could raise your hand and we'll do verbal questions at the end. Good. That's the raise hand button. All right, we'll just kick it off and Steve will introduce his project.
Okay, the first project we have on the screen is the permanent changeable message signs project. This map is the project location located on the northeast corner of the city. Levi's Stadium is in the center of this map. For this project, we are installing 6 sign structure with 10 signs, changeable message sign for traffic information. So they are located on Great America Parkway, going up and down the page. 4 of those signs are located on Great America Parkway, and 2 additional sign structure is located on Tasman Drive to the left of the screen and to the right of the screen. Next slide, please. So the project background. The project will provide wayfinding with 10 large overhead changeable message sign at 6 locations on Great America Parkway and Tasman Drive as shown on the last slide map. The sign can provide real-time traffic information wayfinding for the north side of Santa Clara, for the stadium event, convention center, as well as providing motorists with emergency travel information as well. Next slide, please. So why do we do permanent changeable message sign? The overhead changeable message signs as shown on the left as an example are much more visible and can provide much more detailed information for the motorists than the traditional roadside portable sign that you see on the left-hand side. These are the signs that we're currently utilized for stadium event. We're gonna be augmenting these sign with the overhead changeable measure sign in the future. Next slide, please. So where are these signs located? So this is location one, showing the Great America Parkway location just near Visa Road. So it will be located on the median as you drive towards the freeway. Next slide, please. And this second location is on Great America Parkway as well. This one is near the Bunker Hill Lane. The sign structure is located on the median, and the signs span both sides of the roadway. So there are 3 signs located at this location. So each direction of travel has 1 sign facing them, as well as a 3rd sign facing the reverse of the traffic. So we do this to accommodate stadium event egress, where we utilize both sides of the roadway to push traffic out of the stadium area and get them onto the Freeway 101 and 237. Next slide, please. And again, this is another median mounted sign, 2 arms with 3 signs located on Great America Parkway near the Patrick Henry Drive. Next slide, please. And this location 4 is located on Tasman Drive near Patrick Henry Drive. Again, this is a roadside overhead mounted sign, single sign at this location. Next slide, please. Location 5, again, single arm roadside overhead mounted sign located on Great America Parkway near Our Lady's Way. Next slide, please. And then the final sign located on Tasman Drive near the Lick Mill Boulevard. Again, a roadside overhead mounted sign. Next slide, please. So how these signs will be constructed? So the construction typically will involve a temporary lane closure for installing the sign structure, lifting the sign structure, and then doing trenching to accommodate power cable as well as the communication cable to the sign. The work hours is per our contract documentation, generally 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday to Friday. Next slide.
Okay, moving on to the second project, Great America Mission College Intersection Improvement Project on the screen. You can see the full extent of the work that that is going to be working on in this location. The most of the work is going to be at the Great America Mission College intersection itself. That's where most of the construction activities will be occurring with sign installations, roadway work. There's also going to be a new traffic signal system modification at the Marriott entrance, which is a little further east. And the full gray of the project map you see here is for pavement rehabilitation, which we are also doing for this project to improve the roadway. Next slide. Some highlights of what we're going to be doing. The purpose of this project is to widen the intersection. This will allow for additional vehicle turn lanes and through lanes. Other improvements will include the ADA pedestrian facilities, like the ped ramps you see at the bottom, bus stop improvements, bike lane improvements. This project is also regulated for stormwater treatment. So we're installing the types of swales you see on the bottom right of the screen to collect and treat stormwater. As mentioned, there'll be 2 traffic signal modifications at the intersection itself and at the Marriott entrance, and then the pavement rehabilitation for the extent of the rest of the project. Here's a highlight of the bike facility improvements we're performing. There'll be a combination of Class 2 and Class 4 bike lanes to fill in the network gap, which will be highlighted here in green. This will connect Mission College, the networks on Mission College and Great America together to have one complete pathway for the bicycles. If you don't know the difference between Class 2 and Class 4, Class 2 is just a designated bike lane, and Class 4 is a protected bike lane with the white bollards you see barricading between the travel lane and the bike lane. Slide. Here's what it currently looks like at the intersection. Please note the pork chop islands highlighted there, which are those pedestrian refuge locations where the traffic signal poles are. Those are going to be removed. And as mentioned, the street will be widened. So where this kind of the sidewalk is, a new curb and gutter will be pushed back to allow for some more space in the roadway for the additional lanes required for this project. Next slide. Here's a nice, simple diagram of the improvements, the final product, if you will. There's going to be an additional left turn lane. At the top of the screen, you see there'll be 3 left turn lanes going from Mission College into Great America South. And on the bottom of the screen, you see Mission College turning left, going north to GAP, Great America. On the left of the screen, you see an additional through lane, kind of on the left bottom there. So now you have an even number of 4 through lanes going through, connecting to 4 going southbound on Great America Parkway. And the concrete that we're installing is the pedestrian bulb out corners on all 4 corners. That is kind of, that's the replacement of those pork chop islands. And what this does is help slow down vehicles turning around the corners, right-hand turns, which is good for pedestrian safety, as well as shrinking the distance that the pedestrians have to be in the roadway, reducing any conflict with cars that way. So that's the major benefit of the pedestrian bulb out corners. And also you can see highlighted in green, the dedicated bike lanes, which will extend past this intersection to the extent of the project from end to end. Next slide. So during construction, I wanted to highlight kind of the phasing of what's going to be disrupted or closed down as a contractor performs this work. If I were to kind of say it in broad strokes, let's say the color of orange may be going first. We'll have to shut down and barricade. The pork chop island will be removed. A turn lane and a through lane may be blocked during the construction hours, as well as overnight if deemed necessary for safety. And then they'll move on to, let's say, the light blue will be the next phase. So once the major work is done on the first, they'll move on to the next corner. And then same thing for the dark blue, they'll move on to another phase of the project. Now, this is all high level. The contractor is required to submit their own phasing and traffic handling plans as we get more detail in when the contractor gets mobilized. So I just wanted to you would be aware that this is the type of disruption you'll see during the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. During the construction of this project. There is more work going on, obviously. The paving work has its own traffic handling plan, and the signal pole installations at Marriott entrance will have its own traffic handling plan, but this is the bulk of the lanes that will be affected during working hours. Next slide. You could keep clicking. That's good. So construction for both projects is anticipated to begin the summer of this year. And then we anticipate to be done by the end of 2025. That's an important date we need that the city is holding, that we're working with the contractor on. The typical working hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And as I mentioned, there will be some night work, especially during the paving work at the intersection itself. They need to do that at night. So that way there's reduction in traffic that will be affected, as well as during the pole installations for the traffic signals, while they lift those up with their heavy equipment for safety. That will be happening at night, most likely. And if you need more project information, we have obviously our Northside traffic projects posted online. And I can share what that looks like in the Q&A. We can have that up. And that's it. That is the end of our presentation. Is there anyone online who has a question? You can raise your hand, as mentioned before, and we can unmute you. As well as we have participants here in person, if you have any questions.
Yes, just a few. My name is Perry, and I had a question about the funding for this, like the stadium focused funding project, that's on the stadium authority. I was also wondering where are the class 4 bike lanes going in, and the bigger question is, why are we also having class 2 bike lanes and not class 4 all the time? With regards to construction, do we plan to have a dedicated bike lane while the construction is going on? It's simple signs that say show the road on that part of the highway are it's creating a liability that bicyclists can.
So those are three questions that I've written down.
Funding.
Yep.
Where are the class 4s? Why the class 2s? And then is the intent to have a dedicated bike lane during the construction?
You wanna start a
Okay.
little about traffic funding?
So
Yeah.
Harry, for the funding question, it would be nice, which project you are talking
Oh,
about?
yeah.
Which
There's two
the funding questions
Oh, and
for which project?
for the, let's see, construction work, I understand is clear to the cities. The, we call it the monitors, the
A
traffic.
changeable message sign.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that question, Perry.
Yes.
So for the permanent changeable measure sign, it's funded both by the city funding as well as the stadium authority. The stadium authority is contributing about $1 million for the project, and then the rest is coming from city funds, the gas tax, SB1 fund, traffic mitigation fund for that. So they are
It's the total funding requirement.
the funding total project cost, design and construction is about $3.7 million. So the Stadium Authority, as I mentioned, on the Great America Parkway, 2 of the sign is essentially dedicated for stadium event because they face the wrong direction of traffic. A typical normal operation of traffic, we never intend to, energize them because nobody can see them. So they will be utilized for stadium events. So that's why the Stadium Authority is paying for them, as well as the Stadium Authority, it will be paying for prorated about 21 to 24 games a year. So based on that, it's $1 million total that they're contributing.
Now the next question was for bike.
Bike lane?
Yes, primarily, I see that you're requiring class 4.
Yeah, it's a combination of class 4 and class 2. Obviously, it was hard to show the entire project. It's in the plans. The class 4 was used where best appropriate, where there's enough roadway width and where there's no driveway. So that's the stretches where there's gonna be class 4. And most of it on Great America, it occurs on the north side of the intersection. Most of it is class 4, except there's a break for the bus stop. There's a driveway entrance there, as well as the entrance to the commercial district on the northwest corner. And then near the intersection itself, because of the widths, we didn't have enough room to put class 4 there, just restrictions on gating the right of way and the cost of widening the intersection even further. So it was a bit of a compromise of engineering judgment on where to dedicate the roadway space to allow for the goal of the project for traffic improvements.
Okay. How far does the bike lane continue as we go, shall we say, south on that?
Southbound to the right, northbound to the left.
Okay, yeah, northbound.
So the class 2 is right there. That's kind of that shared. That's what the dashed is, it's gonna come to a shared location. So going north,
So northbound is all.
on the northbound is class 2 into the first driveway. So there'll be a bus from the intersection to a bus stop to a driveway that's there.
Okay, so
We could show it on,
Hold on, we are looking as we see that is GAP.
GAP is going left,
But GAP is.
left, right.
Yeah, so Mission College is up and down.
Up, down.
Great America
That's
is
correct.
left and right.
So I have the plans here. The class 4 starts after the first driveway, the office building there. On
Okay, this is
the,
going,
sure, so the top left of the page, right? Class 2.
okay,
Yeah.
GAP going southbound.
Yeah, so class 2 until the first driveway northbound.
Okay, so Great America, I mean,
Is this?
Our Lady Way,
Other way.
but it's only class 2, so there's no barriers.
There will be one. Yeah, there will be one
I'm-
after the first driveway. It's kind of hard. Do you wanna come here?
No,
I have a plan, yeah.
The question is, why is it not on class four?
Yeah,
That would,
The roadway width, yeah.
that would be Steve's.
Steve's
So,
question.
so also specifically here, we have a bus stop, so we can't put any barrier because they have to get into the sidewalk. And then the stretch, I think Brandon was mentioning on the, there's a driveway, so it makes sense that we have a bus stop and close to it, that we have a driveway. So let's start the barrier after the driveway going north.
The intent is to put class four after that.
It is.
Yes,
It
correct.
is, yeah. And then on the bottom left of the screen, it's kind of the same thing. There is a class 4 and then it transitions into the class 2, same description. Do you want to know further? Or like other locations? Or
Yeah.
It's going south, so south of the intersection? Sure, so that's a buffered one, but there's no posts because of the bus stop that has to occur there. So on the bottom right of the screen, it continues. The bus leaves and then we start a class 4. Then there's a Our Lady's Way, so that's becomes a class 2 with the turn.
And beyond.
On Our Lady's Way, it's all class 4. Getting to Hitchborn, it turns into, it's all class 4 there.
From Hitchborn down.
From Hitchborn, I think it's a buffered. I don't see posts there. Are those buffered? Buffered.
Because you have the
There's no posts. So past south of
entrance to
Hitchborn,
101.
yeah. So there's a combination of class 2 buffered, no posts. Yeah. It's kind of, it transitions from piece to piece.
Yeah, I understand. From my school perspective, 4 lanes of people going 50 miles an hour. It's spooky.
What was the other question? Did you cover all the?
And then the last question is during construction, bike lane access.
Do you want me to answer? the
Sure.
question? So regarding your question about dedicated bike lane during the construction, that's something that we can work with, coordinate with our contractor when they're gonna submit their traffic control plan. And then also it's gonna be reviewed by our traffic division. If we see feasible, yes, we're gonna dedicate bike lane. If not, then it's gonna be shared road. It depends on perhaps maybe the location as well too. So at this time, we do not know yet.
I would be here on the side of,
Yes, definitely, Perry, we hear you. So as you mentioned, this is a high-speed roadway, high volume traffic. We definitely are cognizant of bicycles safety. We do have provision in the specification that require the contractor to submit and the city approve whatever traffic control plan they submit to do their work.
some of the situations we run into as bicyclists is that there's a share the road sign and then there's K rail 50 feet beyond that. So there's no wiggle room and obviously motorists can't respond. to that. So we would ask for, plenty of notice, plenty of lead time. Access to move into the bike lane, move into the travel lane if necessary.
I have questions too. So I came in a little bit late, but it looks to me like we have 4 full crosswalks here that are not punctuated by the tongue of the median. Is that accurate?
That little island
Yeah.
refuge, yeah, that's going away.
So this is more a comment. In general, I approve of pork chop removal and corner bulldozers. But we did that here. You can go stand on the corner of Homestead and St. Tomas. That used to have pork chops and it has removed them on 2 of 4 corners. One of the consequences of that is that if you're on a bike, you end up to the right of right turning traffic. So if you're on a bike headed, let's see, this way south here. And there's somebody that's trying to turn on Mission College, that person is turning in front of, that car is turning in front of. And that's, makes for some awkward waiting.
The shared, like the shared area, the bottom left
Yeah.
corner, that's a shared defect, that's like a right-hand turn shared with the bike.
Whereas if I have a pork chop, I have a place to sort of shelter while I wait. And an obvious place to be, so. Compare Homestead in San Tomas with Monroe and San Tomas as it stands today. I don't have a great answer to that, but it is an effect that I have noticed when you remove pork chops.
Can we answer that? And then. if
Well,
you
we could
go-
provide some information as a result of the curb extension. Oh, no, we could use this slide specifically on the bottom left corner where we have the curb extension closer in the intersection. Now you see the corner of that turn is much further out. The car has to go further out and turn slower to make that right turn because it's much tighter. I think in that effect, I think, it benefits both pedestrian as well as cyclists because typically,
Yeah,
generally, a cyclist would start slightly slower than a vehicle. So, whether you move forward, there's some
I
area.
get that, but people turn right against the red light. And when they are doing that, I would prefer to be to their left. That's not always obvious to beginning riders. As I say, I don't have a good answer to this.
Yeah, the
It's one of
alternative
things that
is the
doesn't
other
work.
3 right-hand turns with a
Yeah.
dedicated right-hand turn
Yeah.
lane. And then that's more delineated.
Right.
I think it was
That makes more sense, but I guess we don't have space
Space, yeah.
to do that. The southbound corner.
It's more concept. And this is a traffic engineering side decision, safety wise, that we don't want free right turns. We want the right, so if you go
The
back to
right
the
on
previous,
prohibited then?
no, I'm sorry, so can we go back to the previous slide? The other one where we,
exists.
no, the existing one where you can see the right turn movements are free. They don't have to go through the signal part. But by removing the pork chop and moving in the curb, now you are making, if you go back to now even the right turn movements has to go through the intersection, signalized intersection. It's not like before.
I
That they
understand
were,
all of
right?
that. To me, this is trading one problem for a different problem. That's all I'm saying, and I don't have a good answer.
Safely said, we'd much rather have concrete between us and the turning car than illuminations.
Yeah.
And that's why the pork chop on is provided some safety for us.
Well, even the bike lane to the left of the right turn gives some separation. It lets that driver not be going in front of us to make that motion. What,
And what are the speed limits gonna be on? The admission car, I'm gonna say 40.
An answer to that,
I think it's posted speed limit is
the 40 on. the
40
slide.
on Great America Parkway.
And
Admission college is 35.
40 on GAP. And Mission College has 40 as well here.
and on Mission College, I believe that people actually do that. On Great American Parkway, not so much. So I got to experience this intersection kind of more than I would have liked during the trail closure last September. So part of what I'm wondering here, given the condition of the pavement, is what the extents of the repavement in this intersection are going to be. I know at some point it's got to be Caltrans's bailiwick.
Yeah, you can go to the first
We're gonna do a bit of. Yes.
Yeah, so this is the
Okay.
extent that the grid, the highlighted is the full extent of the paving to from 101.
Okay, so all the way up the ramp.
Up to the bridge, concrete,
above, Yeah.
yeah,
Beginning.
beginning of the bridge structure. Even though it's in the Caltrans right of way, as you can see, when the exit ramps are, that's where the city limit and Caltrans right of way is. But this is the agreement between the Caltrans and city that years ago, it was agreed that city to maintain the street.
Yeah, because there's the baseball sized chunks of asphalt.
Correct, yeah, I know it's
That
been.
for the
It has been
past 5
combined.
years.
Yes, because of this project was coming in, we didn't want to invest money here in the pavement and invest money in the other streets pavement paving other streets and put the paving as part of the overall project here.
And I apologize, I came in a little bit late. Can I see the one about the signs? Again,
Overview map would be good to start.
yeah. So you're putting an electronic sign up where?
Yes, so this project is called a permanent changeable measure sign. We are installing 6 structures, 10 signs, overhead signs, instead of the what we currently use on the stadium event, the portable roadside signage.
Exactly block bike lanes, yes.
So they'll augment the portable changeable measure sign. They're not gonna replace them, but provide additional information for motorists to see because they are much more visible. Their color, higher resolution, they could convey more message, and they'll be located, like I said, for the stadium exit, they will be located on both direction of the roadway. So, you know, the counterflow, that's what we call that on the stadium event, where we utilize the full width of the road to get motorists and patrons to the stadium out of the area onto the freeway and get them home as quickly as possible. So that's the intent of this project.
So you just said you're not actually replacing the train.
No, that's not it's to augment.
Some of the trailers, are you putting some of the trailers?
So as part of the Great America Parkway project, those sign will have a more space to place them instead of more constrained.
So there will be designated space.
We will hopefully have more space available to accommodate them.
Because these trailers are one of the things that consistently blocks the bike. And that Great America Parkway is, posted 40 miles an hour, which probably means 55 for a lot of people. And it is really not cool to have to leave the bike lane on the street like that. If you have to ride on that street, at least keep the bike lane open. That's should be objective number 1 of this exercise.
Thank you for that comment, Betsy.
I'll make one more comment while I'm on the topic. During the 2016 Super Bowl, the trail past the stadium was closed. And it wasn't just the event day. It was like a month while they set up an entire other extra city in the parking lot to the west of the stadium. The detour, the usual stadium detour past the back of the stadium was also closed for most of the week, which put me biking on Great America Parkway for about a week. And that whole week I was sharing the bike lane with those trailer signs. I did not feel my safety was being enhanced. Okay, so this is part of why I've been pushing on this for longer than you've been in this. But every time you put one of those, I mean, if you had to invent an object to block a bike lane exactly, that trailer sign would be about right. It's a 6-foot bike lane and a 6-foot sign, as far as I can tell. So anything that we can do to not have to do that, and whether that is and I've complained about them before, and some of them have ended up, you know, the police department or whoever is hired hears about it, and you know, some of them they've figured out to put it in the bus bulb out, or to put it in the landscaping, or to put it kind of around the corner or something like this. And some of them, there just doesn't seem to be a better place. So one thing you might consider, if there's any flexibility left in this plan, is just, you know, getting together with the whoever it is that's putting those signs, understanding where the signs are needed and why. And looking at, is this the best place we can be putting this sign? Is it blocked by someplace else?
Would it be possible to move it off
Yeah.
the sidewalk and actually put in footing so that you can park it there and be stable for the time, so.
Great topic. So as part of the new, NFL season, we are regrouping with the stadium operator just to, look at how everything worked out last year, what improvement can we make? And this is one item we'll bring up, that to find better location for those portable message signs. So like you said, bulb out landscape area
The place that
where there's opportunity and close enough to serve its intended purpose. We'll definitely make that changes, so it's less impactful for cyclists bicycling to the area during a stadium event.
So one place that I've seen these signs in the bike lane that I don't see any, part of this plan is so along Lafayette Street, they put the trailers too. And those also block the bike. There's an opportunity to improve upon that, either by making a better decision about where to put the sign, or by, if these things work, doing another 6 of them next year or something. Let's do that.
Steve, how many of these will eliminate standalones?
We haven't discussed how it's gonna alter the portable changeable measure sign operation at this time, since it's not in play yet. So once they are installed, we'll look at it probably a year out, because they'll be completed by 2025. The sign project, as well as the intersection and roadway improvement project, so they'll take some time to get done. We have time to plan and logistically kind of figure out, are we duplicating some of these locations that we may not need to deploy them? Maybe it would cause more harm than good, because we got too much information that motorists can't absorb all at once.
So these are all tied back to the stadium, control?
They are controlled by the city. The city has a workstation at the stadium where we could control them remotely. So that's the intent of the project. They're not solely for the stadium event. They're primarily for traffic operation, wayfinding, incident information, travel time information, for general normal day-to-day operation. So we anticipate 60% of the time they'll be activated for those occasions. We generally, of course, no advertisement on these signage for sure, but general information to the motorists.
Is there a secondary control site?
No, they are. We have a remote workstation. We just log in on wherever we are on our workstation and tie to the server located in City Hall.
We have a few dozen stadium events per year, so somebody here knows where we put.
Yeah, we
trailers, I'm
we
sure.
do have identify location of all those portable measure signs. So like I said, for this coming year, for this event year, we are gearing up to look at where we can make improvement to last year's plan in terms of sign placement, in terms of access, in terms of parking, and how to manage pedestrian. It all goes into play for the stadium event planning.
Christian, is there anything online or?
No raised hands so far.
Any other questions? Let's say did we answer your questions? Yes.
I know I will know where to reach you if I think of something really.
Okay. We have city's website dedicated for these two projects,
Yeah, that might be on.
engineering.
So as mentioned, once the contractor comes on board, they'll provide their schedule on how to phase, on what their planned activity is. So those information will be shared with the public on the project websites.
Do you have another information meeting like this for?
Uh, Currently, the plan is mainly distributing the information, construction activity through the website. Obviously, you could reach out, to the city through the contact on the website, and then we'll get back to you. If there's adequate, sufficient interest for another public meeting, we'll definitely hold another one. But the intent right now is share information as they come through the city website.
I understand this is an expensive form.
Right, yeah.
It's
But,
nice to get the face-to-face communication.
or you can anytime call us or come to the, right, city hall and
Yeah, we know.
schedule a meeting. Yeah. And you know where he is and you know where we are. Anytime, please call us. And both project managers for the project and our construction management team's contact information, everything will be on the city's website.
Yeah, so I will provide during construction, I provide weekly update. So if you go to the city website, you can get information
There
where
you go.
contractor is working, what they're doing and what they're planning to do in next couple of weeks.
Here's
And then
the-
how it's gonna impact you.
Here's the
Just scroll
website.
down a little, Christian. We'll update this website with the little more. Like timelines and we'll update the tabs with updates.
Project contact information. There you go, yeah.
Do you have the traffic plans already?
No, as I mentioned, the contractor is getting on board, so they have not submitted the schedule for the work. There's a lot of material they need to submit before work actually starts. We haven't gotten any submittal for review yet at this time.
Is May started?
Well, that's more for the construction phase. Construction itself, as Farinack may have mentioned, be more summertime actual activities.
June, July.
Yeah, early summer.
We don't have the schedule from contractor yet too, right? They,
That's right.
they will submit the submittals after the submittals are reviewed and approved and then everything start. And in both projects, there are long lead items. Those signal poles and the message poles, those are long lead items.
Be an idea of what long lead means.
They
Oh.
could, the sign structure, they're non-standard, they're custom order, so they get need to be fabricated. So those typically take 9 to 12 months for them to get delivered. Months for the material, for the steel pole structure to get delivered to the project site. And then the contractor can plan their work to erect the pole and then assemble the sign on top of it. So that's the, changeable measure sign. Again, the intersection improvement, like the traffic signal, those are also long lead time, typically about 9 months, even those they're standardized item, they take some time. That's the construction environment at this time. Those just take time, and we do plan for that. So that the whole intent is get all this improvement done and constructed and operational before 2026, before the Super Bowl, before the World Cup.
During the construction phase of paving and all that, we put in the footings for the signs.
The two contractor will coordinate as best as they can, so they don't step on each other's toe. They don't have to do any rework. That's the plan.
The paving will most likely be last after all the underground and heavy civil is done. So that's the final cleanup.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So did we answer your question, Perry?
Yes,
About
I
the,
I
okay,
anticipated that.
okay. Yeah, long lead time. So, the foundation based on the submittal, the foundation for the pole and everything will be placed. And the roadway widening work will be, the concrete work and all that will be completed. But the pole will be installed once it's arrived, right? Yeah.
Are these gonna be fiber optic connected or Wi-Fi?
Correct. So it's fiber optic communication to the sign as well as the traffic signal. So we do have fiber optic communication line to these devices.
Changing lights and all that, be simple.
Yeah, it's already relatively simple. We're just upgrading as Brandon's project is like various items. So we're taking an opportunity to upgrade equipment that's somewhat outdated and then creating new connection to the sign where we currently don't have communication. So that's the intent.
Having more traffic, for some of the stadium events. It's pretty crazy out there.
It did.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Each event is different.
Okay.
Okay.
So we will stop recording. Christian, real quick, can you take a quick, you could stop sharing the screen and then just want to make sure the participants, we could just take a quick snap of you do a print screen or a quick snip on the bottom there of the participants, as well as we have a signage sheet there, just so we know with the number of people who attended. We'll just do a quick snap of the participants here. Thank you. And that's,
And I
Sup-
think you joined us later. Do you mind signing?
yes.
Your-
Sign in on the,
Thank you.
And I think that concludes. Thank you for participating. This community outreach for these two projects.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll end the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.